Hello guys, this is the Storyteller and I am your host. Today's movie is The Little Hours. The Little Hours, it's a movie about a few nuns at a church, or I don't know what they called it in ancient medieval Europe. I don't really remember. But this is about these nuns. These nuns basically live in complete isolation, and they are supposed to live in very pure mind of thought, and they just are not. They are not pure of thought. That's that's the actual uh, story of this movie. That the nuns who are living, they are not really pure of thought. They have a lot of wild imagination, and they basically make the whole comedy. They abuse each other all the time, and they say wrong things. They do wrong stuff, and they just go to the father for their confessions, and they just lie again and again and again, and that's the basic story of this movie. Yeah, and but something new happens. Something is going to happen. That's the structure of the story. That it has to rise. There has to become. There has to come a conflict, and that's what makes it interesting. These girls again and again abuse their farmer, or should I say the gardener. There's a gardener in the very first few moments of the movie. They use a lot of language with the gardener, and the gardener gets angry and leaves. But and then the father needs a new gardener for the place so that they can grow stuff there. So somebody has to do the other works that the nuns cannot, and so he needs money for this whole place, for this church. And so the father takes some clothes from the nuns, and thinks he can sell them and everything. That's where the fun of this movie starts. Not that the only guy that comes, the bishop actually needs a guy who is, according to these women, is a very sexy guy, and he comes in and he vows with the bishop that he would stay silent, deaf and mute, and that's how the story gets interesting. This guy is so adored by all these girls, all these nuns in this place, that they keep bugging him to have sex with him. Yeah, and this guy had his uh, promise to the bishop that he would stay silent, and he cannot even say anything to these girls who are bugging him again and again. So he just takes it all in. He just enjoys the wild sex, or some of the sexual attempts of these nuns, and he just tries to gel in with them and not say anything, not do anything harsh. But he has a past. He has a past that he slept with the queen once, the queen of the area, and the king's henchmen are out to get this guy. It's a very interesting story. I mean, these are, I think, whoever the writer is, he made this story from some classic tales, and it's so good. It's creative. This is how a good story should be written. A great plot upon which you add some good conflict. This is good. So the first twist of the story is that the guy who comes in, he's wanted by the state. And the second twist is about to come. The second twist, there are Normally in a story there are two twists. In most movies there are two twists. The two conflicts that are supposed to come one after the other. Uh, Somewhere around 50 minutes and somewhere around 20 minutes. Uh, the guy who gets into the this church, he comes in actually around 20 minutes, and the second twist comes around 50 minutes, where the girls in the church, they have to uh, do some rituals or do some witchcraft. These girls are not just nuns. The writer makes them into some lesbians, and they all do some drama, and they have a little hanky panky time together. And that's the second twist. The second twist is pretty good. Now, one common thing about most stories out there, whenever you see a team, most stories are about a team of three people. Three people. Three is the magic number in movies and literature. Uh, and in this movie as well, there are three girls. Mainly, the main cast is about these three girls and the guy. The guy is the fourth character. He is the the spice. The guy is the spice, while the girls are the story. The second twist actually ends up at the moment where the guy has to speak. And when the guy has to speak, there is a senior church member on the spot. I mean, this guy had made a promise to the bishop that he wouldn't talk, but there is another senior church member present, and he sees that there's something wrong in the church. So he sees this guy talking, and then he probably he orders this guy to be outed, and as he gets out, he's taken over by the king's men, and the king's men take him to the prison. Okay, he is going to be hanged or something. That's what most people do, and the, this is the second plot. This is the second twist. I think it's really good, and the movie is great. And what happens after this, that's what you have to see. This is a good movie. I would give it at least 8 by 10. 8 is a magic number. 8 by 10 movies are mostly good. If you are a free thinker, if you're an actual liberal, you will enjoy this movie. The Little Hours is great. It is about a time about which we don't know much. This kind of reminds me of Shrek. Shrek is also based on the same plot, or no, not the same plot, about the same era, the medieval Europe, and then something really funny happens, and this is what the story is about. A funny statement about the medieval Europe, about which we don't know much, and then there are witches. There are a lot of hot scenes, and there is a lot of action and comedy surrounding the whole church, including another thing, that breaking a prevalent thought process is an actual important thing. But also, you should always think that breaking this prevalent thought process is not doing anything huge problem, any huge technical problems. Now, in this movie, it has already been stated that it is a comedy. It is a comedy. Uh, so whatever these nuns and bishops do, that actually doesn't matter. It's a comedy. It shouldn't matter to the common folks. Whatever is being shown is not reality. It's a comedy. So that's another good thing about this movie. It's definitely not one time, but I think you can watch this 2 to 3 times. It's an 8 by 10. It's got great stuff, and by the end, you'd feel that You'd feel very light actually. Feel very light. And this is how a story should be done. Great movie, The Little Hours. This is the storyteller. The next time we'll have something more. Thanks.